Is Israel going to have a ceasefire with Lebanese-backed terrorist group Hezbollah? It's kind of confusing, right? Because like Lebanon is a separate player, even though Hezbollah is largely in control there. We need to have it explained to us, especially with this overlay that Israel is saying they have to do this. The cabinet is set to vote tomorrow on this deal. Bibi Netanyahu is saying they have to accept it because of what the U.S. may do otherwise. I don't understand. Let's bring in Aaron David Miller, former Middle East peace negotiator, an expert in these things, worked with both administrations. Great guy. Aaron, good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving. You know I'm thankful for you.
You too, Chris.
What do you make of the dynamic here that Bibi's saying, well, I got to do it? Is that just him giving himself cover for why he's doing it, or what's your take?
I mean, it's hard to explain. I mean, the guy has resisted American pressure over the course of the last 12 months. Why he would suddenly summon up this as an explanation with only, 2 months remaining in the Biden administration doesn't make much sense. Sometimes Israeli prime ministers use the United States as an excuse, a justification of making concessions in order to sort of neutralize internal opposition in Israel. But I'm not sure that even makes sense, because the Security Cabinet tomorrow is likely to vote in a resounding majority for this deal.
And what do you think of the deal?
I mean, look, Arab-Israeli negotiations, Chris, usually only have two speeds, slow and slow. And we've talked over the course of the last year about the difficulties of negotiating an Israeli-Hamas deal. This has a lot of advantages for Netanyahu and for Hezbollah, frankly, and for the U.S. It'll end a year-long mini war between Israel and Hezbollah. 70,000 Israeli residents of those border towns and kibbutzim will be able to return home. The Israelis have done so much damage to Hezbollah, command and control, literally, physically wiping out their reserves of gold and hard currency. They need time to repair and rebuild, and it's stressful on the Israeli reserves. Small standing army, usually fought largely with reservists. So it's urgency. If you and I had a tough negotiation and we didn't want to make a deal, we would ultimately, if the advantages of reaching one outweighed the disadvantages of not. I just think urgency here is critically important. And the guy who's going to benefit from all of this is the president-elect. You know, Woody Allen once said 80% of life is just showing up. He's right, but he's also wrong. 80% of success in life is showing up at the right time. Donald Trump's going to inherit three conflicts: Israel-Hamas, Israel-Hezbollah, Israel-Iran, which in my view, trend lines look to me in each of these that they're actually kind of moving toward a de-escalation. Of course, he's going to claim credit for whatever transpires. So again, it's Fortuna, Chris, plays a huge role in domestic politics and in foreign policy.
Does this portend a deal with Hamas, or no, totally different dynamic, totally different exigencies?
I think you put your finger on it. Dynamic exigencies. The guys in the tunnel, Mohammed Sinwar, the brother of the late Yahya Sinwar, I think he'd want to hold out, keep the Israelis estimate 101 hostages dead and alive, maybe 50, 51 are still living. He's going to hold out for either a phased Israeli withdrawal or a complete Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. He's not going to get it. And Netanyahu, frankly, doesn't want a deal, because a deal means giving back a lot of Palestinian prisoners with blood on their hands. It means maybe endorsing the Palestinian Authority. It gives him a headache just thinking about it. And his numbers, his stock, his credibility in Israeli politics is rising. Chances are this government could actually go to term in 2026.
It's very interesting how time and the dynamic winds up changing what seems so obvious there. At the end of the day, though, all the pieces stay on the board, right? I don't understand this ruse that Hezbollah is somehow different than Lebanon in terms of negotiating this situation. Lebanon says, well, we'll put our troops on the border, so, as a buffer against Hezbollah. It's like, please. But all the players will stay. Hamas will stay, Hezbollah will stay, and Israel will stay. So it's all just as Aaron said in the prep for this, that these deals are made to be broken. Brother, thank you for explaining the dynamic. ADM, always a pleasure. I wish you the best. Thank you for being with us, and the best to you and the family for Thanksgiving. Take care.
You too, Chris.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.